This is an overview of the dashboard, or main screen of the AirLogix centrifugal compressor controller. The two primary controlling elements of any centrifugal are the inlet and bypass valves, which are shown here in graphical and numerical forms, on the left and right lower screen. AirLogix references the inlet valve as 100% open, and the bypass valve as 100% closed. This is because that is the normal running state of a centrifugal. However, you can change the reference to 100% open for both valves, should that be your preference, or the practice, in your facility. The green bar in the lower center section is the status bar, which displays the current condition of the compressor. You can see it is ready to start. Just to the left, the button is labeled stopped. And the button to the right is labeled not ready to load. Once the start button is pressed, and the machine starts and stabilizes, the status bar will display ready to load, and the stopped legend will function as a stop button, and will be labeled stop. The status bar is also used to identify unmet start permissives and other information relative to machine operation. The semicircle animation, just above the status bar, reveals several important pieces of information. The red arrow, currently at 0, indicates the value of motor current. The area of the graph in green indicates the efficient throttle range, or turn down of the compressor. In other words, the distance between maximum motor amps and the minimum throttle set point. Under normal running conditions, the motor amps would be in the turndown range, or green area of the graph. At the lower end of the turndown is a variable we call dynamic throttle limit, or DTL. This value is dynamic because air density, which varies with inlet air temperature, directly affects the flow at which a centrifugal will surge. So, as DTL is ever changing, so is the green area of this graph, and the turndown the compressor is capable of. The DTL value, actual motor amps, and FLA, or full load amps, are also displayed numerically just above the animation. In the upper left section of the screen, you will see important analog values that usually have alarm and trip thresholds associated with them. For example, I'll use oil pressure. Touching the oil pressure field will open a pop-up that displays the current oil pressure measurement, and both the upper and lower start permissive warning and trip values. Here you see the oil pressure must be between 10 and 40 psi to start the compressor. Once the compressor is running, an oil pressure of 10 psi would cause an alarm banner, and an oil pressure of less than 8 psi would cause the compressor to trip. The same functionality applies to all variables in this section. If you want to change the variable displayed, or even change the order in which they're listed, simply press on the text, and another pop-up will appear, highlighting the variable that is currently displayed. Now, arrow up or down to the variable you would like to show. For example, motor current. Now press select, and you will notice the vibration stage 1 has been replaced with motor current. I'll change this back to vibration for now, and press the close button. Every analog variable available to the system can be configured to display here, in this way. In the top right-hand section, you will notice the statement, AirMaster disabled. If this machine were part of an AirMaster network, the flag would read, enabled. AirMaster load sharing will be covered in another set of videos. Just below, you'll see system pressure, in yellow. This is the pressure reading of the header downstream of the compressor check valve, or possibly even after cleanup equipment. Machine pressure, displayed in green, shows the pressure at the discharge of the compressor, prior to the check valve. And in blue, is the pressure set point, which is the target pressure for this machine. Along the top of the screen is a gray bar that displays the compressor name and the current date and time. The gray bar at the bottom of the screen is for special features and navigation to other screens. Let's begin by pressing the AirMaster button in the lower left. AirMaster is a software product designed to manage multiple centrifugals, and in some cases, positive displacement compressors as well. Because it uses a peer-to-peer architecture that we call floating master, the AirMaster software is installed redundantly on each AirLogix local controller. In this demonstration, there is only one compressor, and no AirMaster network. For that reason, this graph is only populated with one compressor, AC-175, which it shows currently running, and AirMaster is not enabled. A closer look shows that the auto rotation feature is also not enabled at this time. So pressing the AirMaster Enable button here, will have no effect, as there are no other compressors with which to load share. If we touch the AirMaster Setup button here, we will enter a series of AirMaster configuration screens for managing up to 8 centrifugals. But because this video is focused on the AirLogix local controller, we will cover AirMaster Setup in another video. Now I'll return to the main screen, and press the Event History button. The Event History screen will display the last 100 events, with the date and timestamp, for both the event, and the acknowledgement in the case of alarms. This button will toggle between trip events, information events, and all events. Just to the left is a button that will bring up a help screen that explains the difference between warnings, alarms, and trips. A legend is included that further describes the types of warnings and trips. And at the bottom of the screen, you can use the familiar scrolling tool to select specific types of warnings and trips that will display a narrative with helpful troubleshooting tools for your convenience. Again, I'll return to the main screen, and this time I'll press the Trend Select button. When the Trend Select screen appears, you will notice there are 6 pre-configured trends, and 1 user-definable trend. I'll select the user-definable trend screen, which has already been configured for this demo. Notice the legend at the top of the screen. That shows the pens that have been selected for trending. By clicking on a specific pen, in the legend display at the top, I am able to scroll through all system variables and select the values I want to see trended. Now, one more screen to explore. This one is called User Defined Status. This screen allows you to create a custom screen of variables in the order in which you would like to see them. Just like before, you can select any variable that is displayed and change it to another one. I'll change motor kW to motor amps. Notice, I can click on any variable, and a pop-up window displays relevant data regarding its current value, and the high and low warning trip and start permissive thresholds that apply. Back to the main screen. And we find there is only one remaining button. That is the navigation button. I'll cover the navigation to all other screens in a separate video. You have just seen a demonstration of the AirLogix dashboard or main screen. Be sure to watch other videos to see the full functionality of AirLogix and other products. And by the way, thanks for watching.